You didn't lose her suddenly. You lost her in the small things she stopped sharing. At some point, your conversation started to become shorter, not in time, but in depth. She still told you about her day, just not the way she used to. And that's when something started to feel different. She still talked to you, still replied, still asked how your day was. On the surface, everything looked normal, but something small had shifted, something easy to miss if you weren't really paying attention. There was a time when she told you everything, not just the important things, but the small ones, the random thoughts, the unnecessary details, the little quirky, silly things that didn't really matter. It was like having a front row seat to her everyday life. Being able to see her for the beautiful mess she was, that's what made you feel closer to her. She told you what she ate that day, something funny that happened at work, a random conversation that she overheard, things you didn't ask for, but she still shared. And that's what made it feel natural. You didn't have to pull anything out of her. You were just part of her day, without effort, without thinking about it. And over time, that became normal. You didn't question it. You didn't analyze it. You just knew. If something happened, you'd hear about it. And then, it slowly stopped. Not suddenly, not in a way that made you pause immediately, just gradually. At first it was small. Her replies became shorter. Her stories became fewer. Instead of telling you what happened, she started summarizing it. How was your day? Good. And that was it. You didn't think much of it, because not every day has a story. Not every moment needs to be shared. So you told yourself, maybe she's just tired. Maybe nothing interesting happened. And that made sense, until it kept happening. Again, and again, and again. Days started to feel the same. Short answers, no details, no randomness, just surface-level conversation. And that's when you started noticing it, not as a problem, just a difference. Something that used to be there wasn't showing up anymore. You still talked, but it didn't feel the same. The depth wasn't there. The small pieces of her world that used to reach you stopped. And you didn't say anything, because how do you even bring that up? She doesn't tell me small things anymore. Sounds like nothing. Too small to complain about. Too small to turn into a conversation. And the strange part was, it didn't feel wrong enough to question, but it didn't feel right enough to ignore either. But you chose to keep it to yourself anyway. You stayed the same. You asked questions. You showed interest. You tried to keep the connection the way it was. But slowly, you started feeling something. Not frustration, not anger, just distance. A quiet kind of distance. The kind that doesn't come from silence, but from lack of depth. You were still in her life, but you weren't inside her day anymore. And that's what made it different. Not what she stopped saying, but what you stopped feeling. And over time, something else changed. And then, something shifted. Not in her, in you. You started asking less, not because you didn't care, but because it didn't feel the same. You stopped expecting details, stopped waiting for stories, stopped feeling that natural curiosity you used to have, because it didn't come back the way it used to. And without realizing it, you adjusted. You met her where she was, surface level, short conversations, less depth, less effort. Until one day, you noticed something strange. You weren't missing it anymore. You weren't waiting for her to open up the way she used to. You weren't expecting those small details anymore. And maybe that's when it changed the most. Not when she stopped sharing, but when you stopped feeling the need to know. Because at some point, you don't just notice the distance, you become part of it. And by then, it doesn't even feel like distance anymore. It just feels normal.